evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?
Welcome back to the Broncos franchise on Madden 22. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. Nothing to dance around here. We've got the final game of the regular season here, and it is a big one. We go out to Arrowhead Stadium in a matchup that will decide the champion of the AFC West. It could have implications as far as the AFC regular season champion and that first round bye, as the Ravens are one game ahead of Denver going into this one. So it's a critical matchup. The Broncos coming off of a loss to the Raiders in Week 17. The last time we played the Chiefs, they were able to handle us pretty significantly. I think they beat us by 17 points in that one. So let's see if we can go on the road to Arrowhead Stadium and pick up a win against the Chiefs. And here we are, Arrowhead Stadium. It's the Chiefs and the Broncos in a Week 18 matchup with tons of playoff implications. And Andy Reid hoping that his squad can get the job done here as they sit at 10 wins, where if you are at 10, that's the kind of point where as a wild card contender, you're sweating a little bit. So the Broncos have an opportunity here to maybe keep them out of the playoffs. They get the ball first, and it's Tariq Cohen bringing it out to the 27-yard line, and that's where Brett Morris and this Denver offense will take over to start things off. Well, look at the numbers for Morris. He's been pretty good for the Broncos this year. 26 touchdowns, just 10 interceptions, and about 3,500 yards, making a bid for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now on 2nd and 7 here, he's going to hit Cortland Sutton for 14 yards out to the 45. Now 1st and 10, it's a give to Javonte Williams. He's got a huge hole and then makes a couple men miss. He's going to take it the distance. A flag came in a little bit late, however, and there is going to be a block in the back downfield that will bring this back. It'll set up a first down and 3. But that is a huge penalty as it takes points off the board. Now on that ensuing play, Brett Morris, play action, rolls out. He's going to hit Cortland Sutton down to the 22-yard line, a gain of 26 on the play, and it's 1st and 10. Now 2nd and 10, Morris to throw. He flings it out to Jerry Jeudy, who takes it down to the 10-yard line, and a new set of downs for Denver. 1st and goal, they swing it outside to Cohen. He gets a nice block from Jeudy on the edge and takes it in for the score. Denver coming right down the field and putting up the touchdown early to jump out to a 7-point lead, in this Kansas City defense a little bit frustrated so far in this one. Just 3 minutes into the game and they already trail by 7. McManus to kick off, and he's going to send this one deep. That'll be down for the touchback, and Pat Mahomes and this Kansas City offense going to get started from the 25-yard line. But first, let's take a look at the numbers for Mahomes this year. 4,600 yards, 32 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He has been pretty darn good for them yet again this year, but on 3rd and 10, he's looking to throw. Has some time, plenty of time, but nobody open, has to just throw it away. He goes 0 for 3 on that initial drive, and the Chiefs go 3 and out. Tariq Cohen back to return. He's going to bring this one back all the way to the 44-yard line. So excellent field position for Denver and a chance to maybe go up by 2 scores. First play of the drive, it's Morris looking to throw. Nothing there. He's going to step up into the pocket, but Jones is going to get loose and drop him for the sack. A 6-yard loss. Next play, again, nothing there. He's going to try and step up through the pocket, but Jones gets loose and drops him for another sack, a loss of 5. Now 3rd and 21, and Denver going the wrong direction. But on 3rd and long, the Chiefs blitz. It's man coverage downfield. Hamler gets loose, takes the hit, makes the leaping catch, and they convert on 3rd and long down to the 29. Now 2nd and 5, they give it to Cohen. He's going to take this one, makes a man miss, and has it down to the 23-yard line and another first down. Cortland Sutton shaken up on the play. He would be out for the rest of the game. Now 1st and 10 at the 13. Morris to throw. Down the middle, it's Noah Fant wide open for the touchdown. The Broncos go up by 2 scores. Now on the ensuing drive, it's 3rd and 1. They go up the middle with Edwards-Helaire. Gets the first down, but he's roughed up on the play. Holding that shoulder, he would return, but it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 35. Mahomes looking to throw. Has some time. Looking, nobody gets open, and he is going to get sacked by Shelby Harris, the veteran D tackle, making the play there, and it would set up 2nd and 18, now 3rd and 14. Mahomes looking to throw, has some time, sends it downfield to Kelsey, who's going to fight for some extra yardage, but gets gang tackled just short of the first down. 4th and inches at the 45. The Chiefs a little bit conservative here, and they are going to punt it away. Tariq Cohen, though, takes it at the 8-yard line. It's a fair catch, and it'll be a long field in front of this Denver offense, but Brett Morris has been outstanding so far. 7 of 9, already over 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns in just the first quarter. Now 1st and 10, it's going to be Tim Patrick. He's got that one all the way out. He stays up as he rolled over the defender and gets it all the way to the 29-yard line. Willie Gay shaking up on the play, and it's 1st and 10 from the 29. They're going to go on the ground with Javonte Williams. Gets some blocking, makes a man miss in the secondary, and it's a foot race. Javonte Williams down the sideline, and he is going 71 yards for the score. And the Denver offense now 3 touchdowns already in this one as they are blanking the Chiefs. It makes it 21-0 as this secondary unable to chase down the speedy halfback for the Broncos. Now on the ensuing drive, Edwards-Helaire back in there, and on 2nd and 5, he's got a completion, takes it out to the 48-yard line. You've got a feeling that Kansas City is going to have to get some points on this drive to try and get into this game. It's going to be Mecole Hardman making a couple of men miss there on the completion. He's got it down to the 38-yard line. That's the last play of the first quarter. Now on to second quarter action. 1st and 10 from the 25. He hits Tyreek Hill down to the 12-yard line and a new set of downs. Now on 3rd and 2. Mahomes looking to throw. Has some time. Can't find anybody and just sends it out of the backfield. Kansas City is going to risk it here and go for it on 4th and 2. They keep it on the ground. Young had a chance to make the tackle there, but Edwards-Helaire slips away, takes it in for the touchdown. A massive score for the Chiefs there as they make it 21-7. But on the ensuing drive, it's Brett Morris hitting Jerry Jeudy. He's got it out to the 50-yard line and a 1st down. Now they go with Cohen. He's going right up the middle, a huge hole. He's got 12 yards and another new set of downs for the Broncos. 1st and 10 now at the 38. It's play action. He's going to throw it out to Jerry Jeudy. Slips away from Tyrone Matthew and takes it down to the 16-yard line, another 1st down. But on 3rd and 1, they go up the middle, and it looked like Williams would have had it had he just stayed inside, but he tries to bounce it outside, gets tackled for no gain, sets up 4th and 1 from the 7. It's a chip shot field goal for McManus, and that would make it 24-7. A big stop for the Kansas City defense as they hope to try and just keep this thing from getting away. 3rd and 6 on the ensuing drive. Mahomes looking to throw, sends it down the middle, but it is incomplete, intended for Tyreek Hill. 4 minutes to play in the first half. It's 24-7, and they've got to punt it away. It's Tariq Cohen bringing this one back, and again, good field position for the Broncos as he has it out to the 40-yard line. 1st down with 4 minutes to go. It's Morris looking to throw. Jerry Jeudy wide open. He's got it out to midfield. Another 1st down. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 50. He slings it out to Noah Fant. Another 1st down, all the way down to the 33-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10 from there. They go up the middle with Javonte Williams, and another 1st down as this Chiefs offense is just absolutely porous. Right now they are in desperate need of a big play, but that is not going to do it there. 2nd and 7, they go with J.D. McKissick. He's got a 1st down to the 13-yard line. Now 2nd and 7, Morris rolling out, slings it to Jerry Jeudy, hits him in stride, and he takes it in with just 27 seconds left in the first half. That would make it 31-7 at halftime as this Chiefs team is just in absolute shambles. Both sides of the ball have not been very good in this one, particularly the defense, and they trail by 24 at the half. They have got just 90 yards of offense. They're getting outplayed in every facet of the game, and in a big one here in Week 18. We'll take a look at some other scores around the league. Going to New Jersey, it's the Jets against the Dolphins. The Jets are 8-8, but trail 12-0 to the 2-14 Dolphins in that one. Then we go out to Cleveland, where it's the Browns and the Patriots. Cleveland up 21-10 in that one. Both of those teams at 9-7 trying to fight their way into the playoffs, perhaps, with a victory. Then we go to Tennessee, and it's the Titans over Washington, or against Washington, as it's tied at 7. The Titans are 11-5 on the year. They still have hopes of playing their way into an AFC first-round bye. Now, first play of the second half. Pat Mahomes slings it outside. It's going to be complete, but the fumble is there. Patrick Surtain able to scoop it up, and he is going to take this one back. That would make it 38-7 first play of the second half, the Chiefs already turned the ball over. It's a scoop and score, and this one is just going to get away from the Chiefs. They just get absolutely slaughtered in this game. The Broncos would add a couple more touchdowns. The Chiefs just get decimated on both sides of the football. They were just atrocious in this game. They lose 52-17. We don't need to see a whole lot more of the action in this one, as it was just ugly throughout for this Kansas City Chiefs team. Very, very disappointing considering how much was on the line, and the Broncos just pummeled them. 275 yards on the ground and 273 through the air in a game where they really didn't even need to use it in the second half. You got to be kind of concerned about a performance like that from the Chiefs with so much on the line. That is just absolutely unacceptable. We'll take a look at the stats in this one, as Brett Morris was outstanding. 18 for 20, 284 yards and 4 touchdowns, a perfect QB rating. Pat Mahomes was okay at 22 for 33 with 233 yards and a touchdown, but those are not his best numbers by any stretch of the imagination. Javonte Williams with 165 yards and a touchdown on just 15 carries. Edwards-Helaire was bottled up a little bit, did get a touchdown. Tariq Cohen ran for 64 yards and a touchdown. J.D. McKissick, 41 yards on 8 carries, also contributing on the ground. Travis Kelce led all receivers with 8 catches. He had 70 yards and a touchdown. Big day for Jerry Jeudy, 122 yards on 7 catches, including a touchdown. He was injured at the end of the game, but should be healthy for the playoffs. Tyreek Hill, just 30 yards on 3 catches. Noah Fant, a nice day, 3 catches, 47 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns in there. And then you had Courtland Sutton, 40 yards on 2 catches, and a nice big reception by Hamler early in that one that kind of set things in motion for the blowout. Kenny Young ended up having 12 tackles, led everybody in that department, including 1 for a loss, and Nick Bolton, the middle linebacker for Kansas City, had 11 himself. Chris Jones, 2 sacks. They were on back-to-back plays early and ended up not mattering. Draymond Jones had a sack. Bradley Chubb got one, and the veteran Shelby Harris picked one up as well. Harrison Butker hit a 28-yard field goal and a couple of extra points. McManus had a chip shot as well, and seven extra points on the day. Tommy Townsend, 3 punts, a net average of 36 yards. The Broncos never had to punt as they just crushed the Chiefs in this one. All right, so an absolute beatdown of the Chiefs, 52-17 at their home field with so much on the line. Just an unbelievable performance by the Broncos in that one. Hard to believe that that would be the outcome in a game that meant so much with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, all the weapons they have offensively. They were just terrible, and their defense got absolutely torched all day. So we've got a bunch of staff points now as we get some bonuses for season goals, as well as everything we accomplished in that game. Wait, what was this one? Blanket. So we can get corners or wide. Let's go with corners, I guess, because we might need to pick one up for some depth this offseason. We've got 12 points left. That's not going to be enough to get this one. But I think that's good for now. And then what else do we need to do before we advance here? We did get some player upgrades after that game. It was Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, and Patrick Surtain, so 3 of our best players getting even better, which is awesome. Now we have the injury to Courtland Sutton that could be critical. Actually, no, he's going to be back. He was just out for the game, but Justin Simmons, broken ribs and will miss 4 weeks. So we wouldn't get him back until probably at least the divisional round, if not the AFC Championship. Probably the AFC Championship, maybe not even until the Super Bowl. So that one stings a little bit. But let's advance here and see what happens with that Ravens game. Because if they lose, we get that first round bye, if I'm not mistaken. And man, would that be awesome. So let's see how that shakes loose. 12-5. It doesn't show us playing anybody in the wild card week, but I don't know if it normally does that or not. Let's see. Ooh, the Ravens lost. So we end up with the first round bye. That is absolutely massive, guys. Let's go look at the schedule and see what happened there. Because wait. What I want to see is season week 18, and we're looking for Ravens and Bills, which was the Sunday night game. And they lost by a touchdown. That is just absolutely massive. Did Tennessee ended up losing too, and I don't know that that mattered, but we end up as AFC regular season champs. We get the bye in the first round, and now let's take a look at the playoff bracket just as a snapshot here. So it's going to be Ravens and Colts, two teams that have some history, with the Colts historically having played in Baltimore. Then you've got Titans and the Browns, and that could be a good matchup. Two teams that run the ball really well, and then Patriots and the Steelers are in the playoffs. I assume without Ben Roethlisberger at the helm anymore, so that's interesting. The Buccaneers win the NFC regular season. Then it's Packers and Washington, so they played their way in, I think, with that win in Week 18. The 49ers and Panthers, that should be a pretty good matchup. And then Cowboys, Seahawks as the 4 and 5 matchup. So we've got a bye. So we're going to be having a late round pick in the draft, which is fine. I would rather have that than an early pick, because that means that we've done our job as a team winning football games all season. So we've got the bye week. We're going to just stick with half pads basically through this off week and try and get everybody healthy. Am I seeing right that Trey Stevenson is healthy again? Because he's back to where they're showing him on the player focus board there. Maybe he's going to be back for the playoffs? Let me take a look here. Well, let's go in here to manage the player upgrades. Caden Stearns, our backup free safety, getting a little bit better. And he's actually going to be starting, so that helps. Mitch Wilkins, our backup center, you need to just get better at your overall. Get a little pass block in there. Nope, he didn't. That's okay, though. Now, Trey Stevenson is getting a little bit better. Let's go elusive. I want to get him to where he can actually hold on to the football and be a pretty decent weapon for us in the actual ground game as much as the passing game. So we'll focus on that for a while. All right. So let's look at these weekly awards. Who's this going to be here? So Brett Morris, for his 4-touchdown day, gets that honor. And we should have yearly awards, shouldn't we? Or do they not give those out until the Pro Bowl, I think? I don't think they do. So let's actually look. Now that the regular season is over, let's go to stats and see how everybody finished up individually and then team rankings. So Brett Morris was just absolutely outstanding this year. 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,752 yards, a QB rating of 102.2 as a rookie. He was sacked 30 times, which isn't that bad, especially for a guy that's not super mobile. But he just played phenomenal football for us. As a rookie, I cannot say a single negative thing about how he did. Javonte Williams was really good for us this year. 5.5 yards a carry. He had some stretch early, I feel like, where he wasn't exactly setting the world on fire, but ends up with 19 touchdowns, as that number definitely kind of hockey sticked upward toward the end of the season. Cohen ended up having a decent year considering he missed a bunch of time. McKissick was very good for us as the fill-in option when Cohen was out. Stevenson, again, missed a bunch of time, but I really think he could turn into a pretty good player for us. And then Mike Boone contributing a little bit on the ground as well. Through the air, Jerry Jeudy ends up going just over 1,000 yards and had 7 touchdowns on the year, 72 receptions. Cortland Sutton, a pretty solid year, 65 catches, 953, and 8 TDs. Noah Fant, 63 receptions, 771 yards, and 8 touchdowns for him. And then Tim Patrick was like non-factor early in the season and ended up turning it on a little bit. We got him a little bit more involved late in the season. He ends up with 389 yards and 5 touchdowns. Javonte Williams had 30 catches for 238. Cohen, 17 for 135 and a couple of touchdowns, and then a bunch of just kind of minimal contribution guys down here. Want to see Albert O maybe get a little bit more involved next year. We'll try and figure out ways to use our tight ends. But some of it is going to just depend on how much we, continue to stress the passing game versus staying balanced, because I feel like that balance really helped us this year. Kenny Young, 150 tackles, 19 tackles for a loss, and 5.5 sacks, plus an interception. He could end up in contention for linebacker of the year. Bradley Chubb, 13.5 sacks, pretty solid year for him. Draymond Jones, a nice year at left end with 7.5 sacks. That's actually not that bad in a 3-4 defense, because you're usually lined up kind of between a guard and a tackle, where a lot of times you're getting chipped or double teamed or whatever. Kenny Young, 5.5 sacks, 5 for DJ Jones, and I feel like those were mostly early in the season. Then he kind of went quiet down the stretch. Shelby Harris, a disappointing year, quite frankly. I thought he would be a little bit better, but he's getting up there in age to the point where he's kind of past his prime anyway. And then Spencer Johnston, I wish I could have figured out ways to get him more playing time. He'll probably see it next year a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I mean, DJ Jones, I don't remember if he's coming back again or if we signed him to just a 1-year deal, but nonetheless, I like what Spencer Johnston brings to the table. We just need to maybe get him some more snaps and see if he can develop into a stud. McManus had a pretty good year, 26 for 29, a long of 57 yards. He had 1 blocked, and then was 58 of 58 in extra point tries. Sam Martin, 43 punts in 18 games is extremely low. I feel like we had a handful of games where he only punted like 2 or fewer times, which is awesome. He ended up with 13 that went inside the 20-yard line, 7 touchbacks, and a net average of 44.8. So that's the offensive numbers. We've climbed up to number 27 on the legacy leaderboard for head coaches, and I'm sure we'll continue to climb up that board as we go. All right, offensively, let's see here. Where are the Broncos? I'm kind of surprised that we're not higher on this list, but it's okay. 28.9 points a game is pretty solid. Let's look at where we ended up. See, so passing, actually, we were sorted by the wrong total there. When we look at total offense, and this doesn't include return yards, we're still kind of toward the middle of the pack. Through the air, we're towards the bottom. 4th from the bottom, but we ran the ball very well this year. Led the league in rushing yards, and honestly, we weren't even really trying to. We ended up having several games where we got early leads and then just started putting it on the ground and really dominating people in that aspect of the game. So that's kind of what led to the passing numbers not being higher than what they were, because it's not like it was because Brett Morris was bad. We ended up with the 5th best points per game, which is solid. Passing touchdowns toward the middle of the pack, which is pretty good, especially considering we had a rookie at that position. Rushing touchdowns Also toward the middle of the pack. And how about first downs? How did we do here? Also, again, looks like toward the very center of the pack. Now, here's where we were really good. On defense, 4th best in total yards allowed, behind 3 AFC North teams, which is really, actually no, the Titans aren't in there. But 4th best in that. Let's look at passing. Like 7th or 8th best there. Against the rush, we were 5th best. Points allowed, 7th best. Sacks, 4th best. Fumble recoveries, tied for 5th best. And then interceptions, 5th best. So across the board defensively, we were really solid. Nobody was able to do anything really well against us. So I really am pleased with how the defense played this year. All right, so 3rd down conversions were, 51% towards the top of the league. I'd say probably like, 12th right there or somewhere in that neighborhood. That's not that bad. 6 of 13 on 4th down, and I don't really care about 2-point conversions. Offensive red zone efficiency, 47 touchdowns and 69 trips to the red zone, 14 field goals. Now, some of what I think happens with not converting there is like if we get down to the end of the game and kneel it, or the end of the half and get a field goal or whatever, those are kind of cheesy because the reason you didn't score or didn't get a touchdown is because time ran out or whatever. So I don't put a ton of stock into this statistic. The one that matters to me is number of trips, because that tells you how often you're getting down there to have a chance to score, and we were 5th. So that's really good because that means you're moving the football. And then defensive red zone trips, we were among the best. Now, percentage here is also kind of important, and we did very well. So 55 trips to the red zone, we allowed 30 touchdowns, so a little over half of the time. And then 46 of those 55 trips resulted in points of some kind. Penalties, we led the league, of course. Turnovers. So the turnover differential, we should be pretty high here. Yeah, 6. So we're +6, which puts us like in the top 10. Giveaways, we did. Wait, I'm going the wrong. Actually, no, we are starting at the bottom. So we're kind of in the bottom part of this list. But 15 turnovers all season is not really that bad. 5 fumbles lost is not very good. That's worst in the league, in fact. So that's kind of a concern, I guess. But still, 15 total for the season is not that bad. And when you get 21 versus those 15, we'll take it. So that's it for stats and standings, or team rankings or whatever. I actually do want to look at the overall standings to just kind of see who was really bad this year, basically. In fact, let's look and see if there's anything else going on here. There's probably not. No, because they're already at the end of their season. But let's look at the overall standings and just kind of see what's going on here. We were tied for the best record in the league. 4 teams ended up finishing 12-5. The Bucks won the tiebreaker in the NFC. We won it in the AFC. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams at 11-6. The Chiefs They didn't even make the playoffs. I didn't even pay attention to that. They lose 3 in a row down the stretch to miss the playoffs. Oh man, does that sting, especially as bad as they just got stomped in that final matchup. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams go 10-7 on the year. The Patriots are the only 9-win team in the league. Then you've got the Jets, Vikings, and Lions at 8-9. Bills, Raiders, Rams, Chargers, and Bears all go 7-10. 6-11 for the Cardinals, Saints, Bengals, Falcons, Eagles, and Giants. And then the Dolphins and Texans, 3 wins apiece. So there was actually a lot of parity this year. Basically 30 teams finishing between 12 and 6 losses or wins. And then the Dolphins and Texans really the only outliers in the entire league, which is pretty impressive parity, to be quite honest. So that's interesting. Usually you've got a team that's like 2-15 and a team that's like 4-13 or whatever, and several teams that are kind of spread out near the bottom. And then usually you also have a team that ends up only losing like 2 or 3 games. You didn't have that this year. All right, so now let's go ahead and advance through Wild Card Weekend and see what happens. Figure out who we're going to play in the divisional round. And what I'm actually thinking, quite frankly, is that we simulate the divisional round, and that would set us up where we can play the AFC Championship and Super Bowl, respectively. The downside of that is I risk not getting to play any playoff games if we get beat in this matchup against the Steelers. But for sake of realism, let's give the AI a chance to knock us out in the first round. And if we make it to the AFC Championship, we're taking matters into our own hands because I want to win that freaking Super Bowl. But let's sim the first one and then go from there. So let's take a look at the playoff bracket after Wild Card Weekend and see what happened. The Ravens beat the Colts 24-7. The Titans beat the Browns by a touchdown, and the Patriots got beat by 11 at home against the Steelers. In the NFC, Washington upsets Green Bay and crushed them in the process. The Panthers upset the 49ers by a field goal, and so did the Seahawks. So 3 upsets in the NFC, 1 in the AFC, and now we match up against the 5th-seeded Steelers with the Ravens and Titans in the other side of the bracket. And now the Bucks have a really, hypothetically easy path to the Super Bowl with the 5, 6, and 7 seeds, the only teams remaining in the playoffs. Although I would think that Seattle could be a little bit dangerous with Russell Wilson, a veteran QB, and a really good one. You always have a chance if he's healthy at quarterback. Now, in this game against the Steelers, it's going to be in the snow. It always snows in the playoffs if you have an outdoor field that's, I don't even know what the latitude or longitude lines need to be. Wherever you got to be north of, if you are, and it's outdoors, it's going to snow. I think it's just like coded into the game. All right, so we know that there's going to be treacherous footing in this one, so we want to try and emphasize the ground game in our strategy, because if you try and throw it in those conditions, you're less likely to have some, consistent success at least. So let's set our weekly strategy accordingly. We want to, Colin Kaepernick is their QB. Now they're 26th overall in passing and 6th in rushing. So rather than worrying about him and the deep ball, let's actually defend the outside run with Najee Harris. He is really good. He's definitely their best offensive player. Um, and I think if we can slow him down, we can beat this team. Because they don't have a really good offensive line. I think we can get to him and get some pressure on him. And these guys are really good against the pass, so we've got to try and figure out a way to run the ball. I want to try and do it. Let's go inside. Let's pound it up the middle and just hammer it down their throats with Javonte Williams running north and south. And then in terms of these goals, let's try and get an interception. Let's get a bunch of first downs. Let's rush for 150 yards. And let's get some sacks. But I don't care how we do it. Let's just get a win here so that we can be set up to go play that AFC Championship and, be one game away from a bid to the Super Bowl in just our second season of the series. All right, so we've got an upgrade here. Who is it? Ronald Darby. And he's kind of getting up there in age too. So, frankly, when I kind of think about what we've got going on as far as like our team moving forward, we need a right tackle. But offensively, that's all that I feel like we've got to address very quickly. Defensively, though, we've got several weaknesses that I feel like are going to be exploitable in the very near future. So let's get after it here. We've got the Steelers at home. Mile High Stadium, always a tough place to play. And it's going to be in the snow. It's going to come down to who runs the ball better. Damn it, we lost. That sucks. I mean, that just sucks. We lost by a touchdown. Season is over. So we come up short. And basically now we get a late draft pick. And all we got for it was one lousy home game in the playoffs. We got the bye. We've got 31 staff points. Let's go spend those. And now my plan for this episode is just to get us prepped for the off season. And the next episode is going to be nothing but off-season coverage. So we're going to go player personnel. What's this last one over here? Reduce the cost of trading up during the draft. Let's get this one because we might use it. That's a good use of those 31 points. Is to go ahead and get that one with the trade on the horizon and there being a possible need or desire to move up to get somebody. All right. So our contract got extended. We can go ahead and wait. Let's check out staff moves, I guess. Are they already talking about? Okay, so these are in alphabetical order. Nothing happened on our team. That's all that we really care about. I don't know if there's a dynamic where like your coordinators get signed away and take over head coaching jobs elsewhere. But as you get, hang on a second. All right, so I think we're basically ready to go ahead and now just kind of keep moving forward. Actually, let's look at what happened here with the box score. The Ravens won, I saw there. So did the Bucks and the Seahawks. So an interesting matchup there in the NFC. We lose 30-24, and turnovers were the difference, basically. It was pretty even otherwise, and we threw for over 300 yards in snowy conditions. That's actually pretty good. Kaepernick was awesome. 321, 3 TDs, 1 interception, and sacked once. Morris, 2 interceptions and sacked 6 times. Those sacks can certainly hurt, but the interceptions were big. Javonte Williams, 83 yards. He was actually pretty good, and we bottled up Najee Harris. So Our defense did a great job against the run, but we couldn't stop Kaepernick through the air, which is embarrassing because he's just trash. Ugh. Claypool, 7 catches for 158 yards. Cortland Sutton had 3 touchdowns for us. 10 catches, 97 yards. Noah Fant, a solid day. Deontay Johnson was pretty good. Jerry Jeudy was all right. Freiermuth, a nice day. They've got Chris Godwin on this team, too. So they've got a bunch of weapons through the air. I mean, if I had it to do over again, I still think I would have, focused on the run game. It's in those conditions and with a quarterback that's not really that good anyway, it doesn't make sense to focus on that as your first priority. DJ Jones led our team in tackles with 8. And then I'll bet you it's Cam Hayward with 3 sacks, Highsmith with 2. TJ Watt really wasn't that much of a factor, and they still whooped us. So our offensive line just didn't get it done in this one, at least not in the pass protection. So that's a tough way to go down. Let's see, the Bucks won by 6, Ravens won by 6, and then the Seahawks smoked Carolina, held them to just 7 points. So that's it for that week. Now we can go ahead and advance through the AFC or the championship weekend and see who's going to the Super Bowl. I do not care about the Pro Bowl, but I think that is the week where we will see yearly awards. It's going to be Bucks and Ravens. So we'll look. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the schedule real quick and see the scores of those games. So we got to go. Wait. I want postseason. I want. What? Why is it not giving me? Ay. Postseason conference. So the Ravens won by 2 touchdowns, and Tampa just squeaks it out over Seattle by 4. All right. Now, yearly awards. I don't care about the Pro Bowl roster. We go to this little press conference here and we just say that we're just cutting loose. I don't think it matters. You get staff points for this, but I don't really think that that's necessary, EA Sports, if you're listening. Now, yearly awards. I'll bet you we've got a few here. Oh, I guess they're not ready yet. Maybe they come after the Pro Bowl. So we got 9 staff points. Justin Simmons is healthy again. Doesn't matter. Let's move it forward. And Super Bowl week. Bucks and Ravens. Tom Brady making one last hurrah to try and win another Super Bowl. And Najee Harris with the NFL MVP. Tom Brady got second in the voting. We didn't have anybody up there. Coach of the Year, second. Weren't we second last year? Come on, man. All right, in the AFC, Offensive Player of the Year, Najee Harris. Javonte Williams, 4th on that list. Pretty solid. Defensive Player of the Year, how about Kenny Young, 2nd? I knew he had a good year statistically with the sacks and the interception. Figured he might get into the mix. All those tackles for a loss is hard to ignore. Brett Morris does get Offensive Rookie of the Year, so good for him. We wouldn't have anybody else on that list. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Terrell Rivers. Not sure what position he plays, but good for him. And nobody on that list for us. Best QB, Brett Morris finished 6th as a rookie, ahead of old Teddy Bridgewater. So we made the right choice there. Running back of the year, Najee Harris. He must have had a killer season. Williams finishes third on that list. Best wideout, Jarvis Landry. How about this dude? Daniel Shelby for the Chiefs. Interesting. Devontae Adams is playing for the Jets now. We didn't have anybody on that list. Best O Lineman. Quentin Nelson, and then usually you see like 4 or 5 from the same team. Didn't get that this year, but how about Garrett Bowles showing up on the list? Good year for him. Best D lineman, Myles Garrett. We don't have anybody on that list. Not surprised. TJ Watt gets best linebacker ahead of Kenny Young, which is interesting because Kenny Young finished higher in the race for Defensive Player of the Year. Bradley Chubb, 7th on the list. Good for him. Best DB. How about Patrick Surtain, 4th on that list? He's going to be awesome. Kyle Fuller had a good year. Best kicker, Matthew Wright, who I guess is maybe like a second-year player that they picked up as a free agent. Not really sure. McManus had a pretty good year. Finishes 4th in that voting. In the NFC, it's McCaffrey getting Offensive Player of the Year. Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year, with Aaron Donald right behind him. Rob Hancock, Rookie of the Year, offensively in the NFC. I think he was a quarterback, wasn't he, that we looked at. Dion Mack, remember, we looked at him, and he had a really good season apparently for the, who was it, the Rams? Yeah, the Rams got him. Aaron Rodgers, best QB, ahead of Brady. And how about Justin Fields, 3rd on that list? McCaffrey, best running back. Calvin Ridley. See, here's what this game, what drives me nuts. When you look at the best running backs, it's kind of the names that you would expect to see up here, especially these top 4. Saquon Barkley up there. You know, all a bunch of guys that you could kind of understand being up there. Then when you go to receivers, it's like none of this makes sense. I mean, some of these guys are pretty good, but like, how is Randall Cobb up here? You know what I mean? Like, Darnell Mooney, why are you up here? This guy, why is he up here? They're just not that good, so how are they putting up those kind of numbers to be on that list? Best O lineman, Zach Martin. Best D-line, Aaron Donald. Best linebacker, I was going to say, probably Von Miller. Byron Murphy, best DB for the Cardinals. And best kicker is Tucker McCann for the Packers. So those are the yearly awards. And now we are prepared to go ahead and advance through the Super Bowl, which will get us into the off-season. Next episode is going to be all of our off-season action, including free agent signings, the draft, and the preseason. So we'll get all of it in one episode. And the Buccaneers beat the Ravens 30-17. Tom Brady wins another freaking Super Bowl. Jeez, that's insane. I don't even care about the stats, but 30-17, and he picks up another ring. All right, that is it. We're ready to go. I don't need to see the season recap. We're going to go ahead and then move forward into the off season, and that will wrap up the episode. So we'll start the next episode fresh from this point right here, where we'll be looking at the latest mock draft, retirements, and re-signings, etc. So that'll do it for this episode. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.
neighbor? Or shall I say this afternoon?